What it is, man. Detroit versus everybody, man. Detroit, we rep the hardest, man. We gain the hardest. You know what it is, man. Detroit, CJ, holla at your boy when we get home.
But skills and talent don't do it alone. It's the hard work and the dedication, the preparation. And that's what we're getting back on track on. No more L's. No more L's. No more split decisions. We got to come back and dominate this welterweight division. Y'all must have forgot who I am. They must have forgot who I am. I'm the biggest threat that ever was at 147. I just got to get my mind right and show all these other welterweights what's up. That means EJ. That means Shawn. Any of them. That means freaking Pacquiao. That means Bud Crawford. All of them. Kell Brook talking to me overseas. They trying to talk something. I don't see no contract though. I don't see no contract though. I don't see a paycheck though. Where's my pounds, baby? Pay me in pounds, not pence. I want pounds. Shout out. You got a long name, 05. I'm gonna call you 05. Shout out, one love, baby. One love. That's right, the first unified champ after Mayweather.
Don't forget to check out our sponsor, The Health Blaze, at thehealthblaze.com. 100% all natural products from lotions, soaps, foot soaks, bath bombs, and much, much more. Use the promo code Goodfella1Boxing. Tell them your boy CJ Goodfella sent you, get 18% off. We out. All right, Keith Thurman, in his the video he did yesterday, early in the part of that video before he predicted Danny Garcia and Spence, he said he wanted Mikey, Shawn, Bud, Pacquiao again. Let's talk about it. That subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. He said he's ready to basically come back up and climb the mountain. He said no more split decision, majority decisions. You know, he want to show that he number one. He was the first unified champion after Floyd Mayweather. Even though he didn't get an opportunity to fight Mayweather, Mayweather was legitimately the last lineal probably title holder at 147 pounds. He didn't get to fight him, but, I mean, if you want to consider Keith being lineal when he had the two belts, be my guest. There really ain't no lineal guy right now. I know, I think most people, and I think we all would agree, lineal probably will come down to Crawford and Spence if they were able to get in the ring, or the people who would beat Crawford and Spence. I think they would catapult to 1 or 2. If they could fight the opposite of who they beat, they could be number one. But, you know, to be honest, Keith Thurman had an opportunity to fight Shawn Porter. Like during the pandemic, he turned it down. I think I know why he turned it down. I think physically he was not ready. All right. He said he ballooned up to 192 pounds. He wants to get to camp around 65 or 160 pounds. You know, he just comfortable. You know what I'm saying? He don't have a hunger no more. You know, mentally, it's when you don't have to do something, when you don't need to do something, it's hard to do something. I make the analogy. When you got a job, but you looking for another job, it's hard to look for another job while you got a job because you don't necessarily need to look for another job. You know, some days your job will make you go on Indeed or wherever else you go to find a job, you know, but then everything will be okay on Thursday and Friday. You be like, well, fuck it. So that's kind of the same feeling that Keith Thurman got. I don't need to fight no more, really. I don't need to fight Errol, Spence, and Shawn Porter. But, you know, mentally, let me get back to myself. Let me get back to being number one at welterweight. Let me try to start myself up. And I just don't see him getting that hunger back. I don't. I don't think he can go back from the bottom and crawl his way back up to the top. You know, I just don't think the fire is there. If the fire was there, he'd be fighting Errol Spence on November 21st. The fire not there. He trying to get his weight up right. Trying to get his weight down right now. You know, training and this, that. I tell myself I have to do cardio and this, that, and the third. Like, I just think he completely to the point where sleeping in silk sheets, he 100% comfortable. And I don't think he could find that beast in him no more. I think one time is dead. I just think he Keith Thurman. One time is absolutely dead. Unless something major impacts on him where he has to get out there and bring one time back out. Al Heyman overpaid him for years. He got 3.5 to fight Leonard Bundu because the rest of the division didn't want to fight him. Paula Malignaggi, whoever else was there at the time, they didn't want to fight him. Al Heyman paid him to keep him satisfied because he couldn't satisfy Keith Thurman with the fights he wanted. And that's, you know, people mad at Keith, but he doing no different than Errol Spence. And when he wanted to fight Shawn Porter, when he had the IBF, Shawn Porter say, no. He said, nope. He gave Shawn Porter an opportunity. He still did. Shawn didn't get him one. You know, Danny Garcia, you know what I'm saying? Chased him down, they fought. He beat him. So, you know, Paulo Malignaggi didn't want to fight him. Amir Khan didn't want to fight him. Nobody was trying to fight Keith Thurman. He was more risk than reward. It's no different from Errol Spence. When Al Heyman give you multiple options, you're not going to take the best option or the toughest option, especially if the money almost is really good regardless. So, you know, people forget that Keith Thurman was that guy knocking at everybody's door and nobody was answering. People say, well, Errol Spence at 12-0. He should have took Errol Spence out. He wouldn't be dealing with that problem today. Errol Spence would have ended up like Erickson Lubin on the floor at that point in time. Keith Thurman probably would have stopped Errol Spence that young. He wasn't ready for that. He would have been Erickson Lubin on his neck, sleep like a toddler. But it's hard to start a motor. It's like leaving an old school car, or you got a winter and a summer car, and your summer car sitting in a garage all winter. You got to clean all that. You got to flush all the fluids and all that. Cause you try to crank it over. I'm like, That's Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman been sitting in the garage so long, and Mayweather, Al Heyman been paying him so good and so good and so good. Everybody turned their back on him. Floyd, Paulie, Adrian Broner, he called. A lot of people don't remember that. He ended up fighting Robert Guerrero, but you know, a lot of guys just turned their back and didn't want to fight him. Amir Khan, you know what I'm saying? A lot of guys didn't want to fight him. He was the most duck fighter at one point. You know? That's it. Smiles. He was the most duck fighter. Now he's just doing unto others that done unto him. He could have to keep Errol Spence fight whenever he wanted. If he want the Errol Spence fight next year, he can get it. You know, it shouldn't really be no other option for him. Even Brook, Porter, Crawford. Who else he named? Mikey. It shouldn't be no other offer for him. You know, he can instantly be back in his throne by getting his 2 belts back, getting 2 belts back, not both of them. He never held the IBF, by beating up on Errol Spence or Danny Garcia if he somehow miracle win. You know, he should be able to, you know, go back out there and beat Errol Spence and get his belt, get 2 belts back, and he'd be the leader. Rakim say, follow the leader, but I drug him. Bars. You know, but, you know, Keith Thurman don't want that. Keith Thurman sitting there pump faking. His name starting to die down. His brand starting to die down. He going to become a forgotten fighter. You going to look at his box record and what happened? You know, could he be a fucking legend by beating Errol Spence and Danny Garcia? You know, he had 2 belts. But then you still got to see Bud. He ready for Bud and Brook basically to finalize the deal to start talking again. That irks my nerves when these fighters start opening their mouth after one fighter already signed a deal. You know what I'm saying? He said he wanted $10 million. Come on, man. You ain't worth $10 million. And anybody say, oh, I want $10 million to fight, they scared. They know that's cash out money. That's like I may never fight again money. But, you know, to talk about how he do versus each one of them, depending on how Errol Spence look, he'll forever beat Danny Garcia unless he just get caught. Danny Garcia can't deal with his movement. He gonna fight Danny Garcia the same way. Outbox in the first 6. You know, take the foot off the pedal, the back half, win 2 or 3 rounds in the back half and win. That Garcia fight wasn't close. Keith Thurman allowed it to be close. I understand with Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman won the front half and he cruised the back half. That's it. You know, he allowed Danny Garcia to catch up to him. That's it. Danny Garcia got waxed. He really probably should have even went for the knockout a lot more. But remember, he had an arm injury. Him and Shawn. It'll be a good fight. Shawn's always the MVP, most valuable participant. I think at this point, you know, I probably still favor Keith Thurman. I feel that he should have used straight punches versus Shawn Porter and Manny Pacquiao. He didn't figure that out to the end of the Pacquiao fight. But I just think it go the same way. I think Shawn is just the bridesmaid. He's just the most significant runner-up in this era of boxing. You know, so there's nothing significant that's gonna happen in this fight, man. If Keith learned to use his jab, he outpoint Shawn Porter easier than he did last time. Mikey Garcia, bad matchup, too much movement for Mikey. For Mikey, but Mikey might land on Keith Thurman, you know what I'm saying? But Thurman showed that he could take a punch. He showed over in the Pacquiao fight he could take a punch. And Mikey is not a significant body puncher, but he does have a good left hook to the body. I just think too much movement, too slow. I just think, Keith Thurman fight a safety fight, first fight. He keep Mikey on the outside with the jab and hook, and now Mikey will have to punch in between Keith wide punches. And if he do land, maybe he can do some damage, but I just think Keith Thurman too slick. Feet too good, perpetual movement too good. He can't fuck with Keith. Just can't, you know what I'm saying? He would just have to catch Keith. His chances is the same as Manny Pacquiao's. You know what I'm saying? It's just that, can you counter him? He don't throw enough punches to win. That's the problem. He don't throw enough punches to win. Mikey has to hurt you and drop you and stop you to win. And he got significant power. I think he might be one of the top 5 punchers in the division, but the problem is he throw 1 or 2 at a time. You know what I'm saying? He just try to counter you. That's what Mikey try to do. He try to sit back, time you, counter you. If you box and stick and move and keep the combinations short and sweet and don't make them predictable like Keith Thurman can. Keith Thurman should win damn near every round versus Mikey unless he get caught. But I just think Keith Thurman just too big, too athletic. I think Mikey Garcia don't belong at welterweight to begin with. But hey. Maybe he can make a miracle happen due to Keith Thurman's inactivity and inability to keep the weight down. Brook, same thing. Can Brook catch him? I don't think so. Brook's feet is slow. He got lead feet. Too much perpetual movement by Keith Thurman. Hand speed too good. Foot speed too good. Too much power. I would predict he should stop Kell Brook. Just a bad style for Kell Brook. I think Errol was a better style for Kell because Errol flat-footed. You know what I'm saying? And you can hit him, and Kell Brook hit him at will early on. Errol just stepped up the motherfucking pace, and he couldn't fight at that pace. With Keith Thurman should stop Kell Brook. Too much movement. He not going to sit in front of Kell Brook. And Kell Brook can't hit a target that's moving. So I just think it's the same as him fighting Terence Crawford, in my opinion. It's just a body bag, you feel me? But, if Brook can catch him, maybe. I just don't think Brook possesses the power that Mikey do. You know what I'm saying? Just my opinion. Mikey really got real one-punch power. He just don't move his hands enough. He never has. Who else he say? Terence. I think that might be a boxing match. The reason I favor Terence, I think he come in fighting safety first, like he did versus Victor Postal, and I just think Keith Thurman wind up too much. I think Bud is taller. Bud got longer arms, so I just think Bud just catch Keith Thurman in between winding up in punches. To be honest, that'd be interesting to see that fight. Who will be the cat and who will be the mouse? Or we had 2 cats in there sitting in the middle of the ring fighting in the gray area. Keith Thurman, it was known in the amateurs to sit down and just be a brawler. Would he sit there and they fight in the middle of the ring, or be Keith Thurman moving where Bud make Keith Thurman come to him? Now, that's an interesting fight. If Keith came to Bud, he will open himself up for counters, but he also opened himself up to test Bud's chin early on. Bud is a sucker for overhand rights. You know what I'm saying? So even I think out of both positions that he in. So, Keith Thurman, I think, come out like he did versus Danny, throwing a huge shot at Terence Crawford to set the tone. But if he did walk Crawford down, that'd be interesting. Crawford seemed to got really good vision. He seemed to be able to pick his shots. He seemed to be able, versus his toughest fight, in my opinion, was Postal. His defense was really, really good in that fight. I don't think he had a better defensive fight that I've seen. So, if he can keep it tight, if Thurman come forward, loading up on his shots, I think Crawford is able to punch with him, and I think maybe hurt and stop Keith Thurman. If not, Keith Thurman can hurt and stop him. If Thurman made Crawford come to him, that's interesting. Crawford is really good at cutting the ring off and closing the distance. I just think Crawford can do it either way. The most dangerous way, I think, is for Crawford is that Keith Thurman come forward and pressure him. You know what I'm saying? I think the hardest way is, the easiest way is making Keith Thurman come to him. So if they fight in the middle of the ring, then it's all about fundamentals, who the better technician. And I just like I like Terence Crawford because he doesn't load up on the shots. He got a better variety of punches. Keith Thurman load up. If Keith Thurman was to fight Floyd Mayweather, it would just be counter after counter after counter after counter after counter. He lead too much open, and he drop his lead hand a lot too. So a real boxing savvy IQ guy sees that he drops that lead hand, and that's why Manny Pacquiao was able to drop him and hurt him a few times. So if he fought Errol Spence, it all depends. Can Errol Spence take the power? Front foot or back foot? If Errol Spence can take the power and he can cut the ring off on Keith Thurman, it's just a matter of time till, the body shot, either crumble the chin or the chin crumbles, or the body just crumbles altogether. So I just think Errol will be able to use his jab. It's going to be the key. It's just the only thing I need to know, can he take the power? That's it. Can he take the power and can he cut the ring off on Thurman? We all thought Triple G was at the best cutting the ring off. You know what I'm saying? And Canelo exposed that he wasn't. Errol Spence cuts the ring off pretty good, really good. So can he cut the ring off on somebody that's as flashy and quick feet as Keith Thurman? If he cut the ring off, able to take the power, it's just a matter of time until the leaning tower of Thurman crumbles and falls. So let me know what you guys think. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. Want to make a donation to the channel? Cash App is CJGood313. PayPal link in the description. Best way to donate. Share the video one time for the one time we go.
Belief about
No, I'm on the phone.
You on the phone?
Yeah.
You looking at my baby?
No, I ain't looking
right?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, man. Next time we come outside, don't be staring and shit like that. I don't like that.
I wasn't
shit.
looking at him.